Hello friends, this video on excretory products and their elimination part 8 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Now before we do that, let us understand the renal tubule in more detail because I just told you the names and where they are located in the figure. Let us talk a little more about the renal tubules. So let us look at the different parts of the renal tubule. The first part is the Bowman's capsule. So what happens? Capsule, the name again, that's a covering. So it is the covering of the glomerulus. As I said, capsule should always remind you of covering. So this is going to cover your glomerulus and it is a double-walled epithelial cup-shaped structure. So you can see the two walls. This is one wall, this is another wall. So these are the two walls. It is made up of epithelial tissues and it is a cup-shaped structure. You see? Shape of a cup like this. It encloses the glomerulus. So the glomerulus is present inside this. It is located in the cortical region of the kidney. Cortical region is what? The cortex of the kidney. So that means this portion, the glomerulus as well as the Bowman's capsule is present in the cortex. Next is the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. Convoluted means coiled. Proximal means nearby. So this is a coiled tubule which is located nearby to the glomerulus. So this portion is the proximal convoluted tubule. This part is PCT. It is highly coiled tubular structure. So you can just look at the picture how coiled this is. It is located in the cortical region of kidney. So this portion is also present in the cortex. Next is the Henle's loop. It has two limbs. Basically, the Henle's loop is a U-shaped structure. So that is why it has two limbs. One is the descending limb because in this limb the fluid flows in the downward direction, and the other limb is the ascending limb because the fluid flows in the upward direction. So this is going to be the descending limb and this one is going to be the ascending limb. So it is located in the medulla of kidney. So that means this region is located in the medulla. So now you can imagine where exactly it is located in the kidney, because when you think of the structure of the kidney, it is somewhat like this. So this portion is cortex, this outer portion, and medulla would be these portions. You remember? Right? So now if you think of this figure, it would be somewhat like this. Maybe this would be the Bowman's capsule and then this is how the U-shaped structure would be. So this is how it is located. So just the U-shaped structure will be inside the medulla. The rest of the things will be in the cortex. Next, distal convoluted tubule. This is again a highly coiled structure. It extends from the Henle's ascending loop. So after Henle's ascending loop, this coiled structure, that is the distal convoluted tubule. It is located in the cortex region. Again, this is also cortex. And now the last one, that is the collecting duct. It is a straight tubular structure. You can just see a straight tube in which multiple DCTs open. Now all these tube-like structures will carry the fluid. Now many distal convoluted tubules will open into this collecting ducts because this is not just one. There is just not just one glomerulus present in a kidney. One kidney will have million of nephrons. So there will be million of glomerulus, million of Bowman's capsule, million of distal convoluted tubules. So many distal convoluted tubule will pour their fluid into the collecting duct. This collecting duct will extend from cortex to the inner parts of medulla. So this portion is cortex, this entire portion. So you can consider it like this. This portion, the upper portion is the cortex and the lower portion is the medulla. So this collecting duct extends from cortex to medulla. And where does the collecting duct go? The collecting ducts in turn open into renal pelvis. You remember? When in the structure of the kidney, I told you that there is a funnel-shaped structure here. So these collecting ducts reach up to medulla. From there, it pours the fluid into now the fluid which comes out of the collecting duct is nothing but urine. So it pours the urine into the calyces, the minor calyces, then to the major calyces, then to the renal pelvis, that is the funnel shaped structure, and from renal pelvis it gets into the ureters. So that is how the movement of the urine take place. So now we understood where exactly the urine formation take place. Now the question is how urine formation take place. Now if you look at the structure of the nephron, what enters the nephron structure is blood. So blood is the input here, because blood enters through the afferent arteriole into the glomerulus. And what is the output? Output from the collecting duct is urine. So now we need to understand this process of formation of urine from blood. So how is the waste extracted from the blood and urine is formed? That is what we have to understand. Another important thing that we will talk about is regarding to this Henle's loop. Just now I said that the Henle's loop extend into the medulla. It goes deep inside the medulla. However, that is not the case always. In certain cases, it goes deep into the medulla. In certain cases, it doesn't go that deep into the medulla. It remains only till the cortex. Now, based on in which cases the Henle's loop is long and in which cases the Henle's loop is short, nephrons are classified into two types. So, we will talk about those two types of nephrons now. So, here you can look at this picture to understand it further. So, like as I said, this would be the collecting duct, right? And this would be the Henle's loop, and all other structures will be present here in the cortex. So from here it will get into the minor calyces, from minor calyces to major calyces, from there it will get into renal pelvis, and then it will come out through the ureter. That is how it will flow. Now let us talk about the two types of nephrons, that is the cortical and juxtamedullary nephrons. So these are the two types of nephrons based on the length of the Henle's loop. Now what are cortical nephrons? Where the loop of Henle or the Henle's loop is very short. Now if the Henle's loop is very short, in that case what happens is, let us suppose if this is the division, let us suppose this is cortex and this is medulla. So now in this picture you can see that since the Henle's loop is quite short, it doesn't go deep inside the medulla. So these type of nephrons are called cortical nephrons because most of the part of the nephron is located in the cortex. So the term cortical is derived from cortex. So they are called cortical nephrons. Only a small portion of nephron extends into the medulla. So if you see, only a small portion of it is into the medulla. The other type is juxtamedullary nephron. So here you have the term medullary because it extends into the medulla. So here the loop of Henle is quite long. So here if you see, if this is your cortex and if this is your medulla, then you actually see that the loop of Henle is so long that it goes deep inside the medulla. And that is why they are called juxtamedullary nephrons. So in this case, loop of Henle runs deep into the medulla. So these are the two terms, or these are the two types of nephrons which you should remember, because when we talk about the process of urine formation and many other different mechanisms, we might be using these terms. So at that time, you should know what are they. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more videos, attempt free online test, get free study material, find tutors and mentors. Thank you once again.